In this episode, we'll show you how we use this variable router jig to make
this jig to
make the cutouts for the ebony bars on our backsplats. Because the bottom bars are longer than the top two bars, it would look kind of heavy to have the top bars the same width as these bottom bars. So our bottom bars, we've decided on a width of 5/16 of an inch, and the top bars are 1/4 of an inch in width, which matches the plugs on our chairs and on the table ends.
So we're going to create the jig with this 1/4 inch MDF using a new Woodpeckers jig that we recently purchased. That was a one-time tool from Woodpeckers that is similar to the Festool MFS system that creates 90-degree corners on these extruded pieces of aluminum, and it's got good markings here for accurately measuring the size. So our plan is to use a router with a collar on it, and that will give us a 1/8 of an inch difference to the outside of the collar from a 1/4 inch bit in the inside. So that means the collar is a 1/2 inch outside diameter collar. So the plan is to use the same collar offset to create the jig as we're going to use on the jig. So that's why the Woodpeckers jig that we're going to use to cut the MDF jig is a 1/2 inch bigger than the 5/16 in width.
So we have the router set up on the jig, set to cut through the 1/4 inch MDF. We do have an MDF backer board behind that so that it'll go all the way through without cutting into our tabletop. So there's our hole with the 1/8 of an inch all the way around it. And this is the second hole. We have it set to 2 inches wide, which will give us 1.5 inch bars. This is the third hole.
So what's that?
1 1/8 plus a 1/2 is 1 5/8.
And here's our completed ebony bars jig, which is pliable enough that we'll be able to conform to the backsplats and allow us to cut the ebony bar inlay mortices. We're planning on doing the back and the front, and meet in the middle, maybe.